What do you think the conversations between Dan Andrews and Anthony Albanese might be about this? I mean, they were spotted out for dinner not that long ago, from memory. What do you think that conversation could look like?
Well, I wonder whether it came up. I mean, if Albo is so close to Dan Andrews, can't he just pick up the phone and say, mate, do you think this is a really good idea? And if he doesn't pick up the phone and suggest that perhaps Dan Andrews should stay home, well, that is essentially condoning his behaviour. I think it's outrageous, and I'm not surprised that Australian officials have used that age-old Cold War phrase of useful idiots, because that's exactly what Dan Andrews and Bob Carr look like.
OK. Also reports today secret plans to bring Australian ISIS brides to return home before Christmas. Your reaction to this?
Yeah, I think the Coalition have been very consistent on this issue. We do not support bringing ISIS brides home. Let's face it, there will be organisations and lobby groups and advocates that will say, oh, these poor women, they need to be looked after, they've been misled. But they are Westerners who have actively gone to support a terrorist organisation when they know that it's a terrorist organisation, when it's been officially listed as a terrorist organisation, and to undertake terrorist activities themselves and support those that have been fighting for ISIS. Now, the Morrison government brought home ISIS orphans. That's a different matter. You can't punish children for the sins of their parents. However, these women knew exactly what it was that they were doing. We want to make sure that the first priority of government is to keep Australians safe. We should have security forces and every piece of legislation ready to go before these women step back onto our shores. Because at a time of social division, at a time when our terror threats have been increased, when ASIO is warning of increased radicalisation in this country, this is not a good idea, and certainly not something that the Coalition will support.
We heard just before from Allegra Spender, who said that if the right security measures were done, that she would essentially support it and she would leave it up to the security services to do that due diligence. What's your response to that? What security concerns would you have?
Well, that's a good question. The whole thing has been done shrouded in secrecy. So there's questions for the government to ask about exactly what security measures are going to be in place. Are these women going to be imprisoned? Are they going to be punished for their role in a terrorist organisation, their active, their intentional role in a terrorist organisation? Because all of that at this stage is entirely unclear.
I also want to get your thoughts this morning, Jane, on these extremist fringes that protest right across Australia. Some of the scenes that we've been witnessing at protests across Australia over the last 2 years, really. And it's important to note that they are extremist fringes at these protests. It's not the majority of people attending these protests. But how do we get that under control, this hate and division that's on our streets at the moment? The majority of Australians really want peace and calm at the moment. But how do we have a mature debate about migration numbers?
It's a really good question, Holly, and you and I are both from Melbourne, so we saw that extraordinary footage on the weekend. People have the right to peacefully protest in this country, but as I've said before, peaceful is the operative word in that sentence. What happened on the weekend was protests that were attended by well-meaning Australians, but being organised by some malevolent forces, getting entirely out of control, putting police in harm's way. Victoria is the only state where you don't need a permit to protest. That's something that I think that our state government could be enacting immediately to prevent the kind of dangerous behaviour, malevolent behaviour that we saw on the weekend. We should know if a protest is being organised, who is behind it, who is responsible for it, and what security measures are going to be put into place by the organisation itself. It shouldn't all fall to the police, who are continually put in harm's way unnecessarily. No wonder it's so difficult to recruit, particularly Victorians, to the police force if you're going to continually put them in the face of danger simply because the laws and the will to make those laws isn't there from a Labor state government.
Jane Hume, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you. Always great to see you.
Thanks, Holly.